Welcome to Hatha Yoga. My name is Michelle Chua. Grab a couple of yoga blocks and a strap, and let's begin in Hero's Pose. Come to sit in a way that you can place your knees in front of you, no wider apart than hips distance, and either sit on your calves or on top of a block that's set right between your ankles. And make sure that your feet are not turned out or turned in, but rather your toes are all pointed back to help safely align your knees. So just recently on Instagram Live, I interviewed the facilitator, a yoga teacher, specifically Kirtan Yoga. If you're familiar with that, that's chanting mantras. And he explained a bit more about what is mantra and what is Kirtan Yoga, as he's going to dive deeper into facilitating that at our December yoga retreat near Temecula. But here I want to share from the book Mantra, Yoga, and Primal Sound by Dr. David Frawley. And he says, modern yoga emphasizes yoga asanas, which place the body into special poses through which a transformative stillness can arise. Perhaps the easiest way for us to understand mantra is as a kind of asana for the mind. Mantras provide focus, strength, plasticity, and adaptability to the mind, just as asanas do for the body. Mantras exercise our mental energy and give it poise and stability, just as asanas improve our physical condition. Most importantly, mantras harmonize the mental field, drawing our consciousness into a state of stillness that is inspirational. Just as each asana puts the body into a certain energetic posture in which higher forces can be released, so too each mantra puts the mind into a certain pose in which it can become a conduit for a higher flow of energy and grace. Each mantra, like each asana, has its intention, form, and means of adaptation. Much like each asana, each mantra has its signature energy that brings about a specific effect upon the mind and can be understood according to its sound, meaning, and application. Unless we learn to use mantra in our yoga practice, we may succeed in putting our body into wonderful asanas, but our mind may remain rigid, agitated, or distracted. As asana is the key to the flexibility of the body, the right use of mantra is the key to the flexibility of the mind. So today, during our meditation practice after the physical postures, I want to guide us into a particular mantra about cultivating inner truth. So with that, let's bring truthfulness into how we honor our bodies today through asana and open up the channels of energy to promote clarity of mind, of body, of energy. So let's begin. Sit in a way that you can really feel what you're sitting on more evenly through your left and right sitting bones. Then lift the spine tall, relax the shoulders down, and start to become more aware of the sensations that you're experiencing in your body. Tuning into your physical state. Become aware of the qualities of your natural breathing. Tuning into your energetic state. Then become aware of your mind and its activity right now. Whether it feels busy, jumping from one focal point to another, or steady. No judgment, you're simply observing. And what your mind is attending to. Through this, tune into your mental and emotional state. Before we set our intentions, what is one thing you can offer gratitude for? Starting by opening the heart space with a feeling of abundance. And from that, start to clarify one thing you'd like to focus your mind, your body, and your energy towards cultivating. What is your intention or sankalpa for your practice today? As a practice of non-attachment and letting go of the ego mind, I invite you to choose someone or something to dedicate today's practice to. A community, a cause, or an individual that you care about. And together, let's join our voices singing the mantra Om, the sound of our interconnection, calling upon creative life force energy that is flowing through all of us in everything, in everywhere. So with that, let's exhale this breath out, preparing for 3 Oms. Inhale deeply. Starting to regulate our mind and body through pranayama, closing your lips, gently narrow the back of your throat, and invite a soft whispering sound as you sustain your breath evenly in and out through your nose, practicing Ujjayi pranayama, victorious breathing. So as you listen to that sound, let it be an anchor for your mind, connecting it to your body and the present moment, balancing the waves of inhale and exhale. And with that, let's bring the legs in front of you as we prepare for our first of several spinal twists. So extending your left leg forward, I'm going to mirror you. Step your right foot on the ground in front of your right hip. And if you're finding that your back wants to round, you might find it helpful to sit up on a folded blanket or a block. Hold on to your right shin with your left hand and place your right hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Flex your left foot, press down firmly through the pelvis. And as you breathe in, lengthen up your spine. Relax the shoulders down. And as you breathe out, keep your pelvis still and begin to rotate your rib cage to the right side. Press the pelvis down, then inhale, lift up from the base of your spine through the top of your head. Let your belly soften as you exhale while continuing to rotate your rib cage. So feel that the twist is mainly happening just beneath your lowest ribs, which is across your waistline. In the spinal twist that we'll be doing vertically like this, you want to root your sitting bones or whatever is touching the ground, create a stable base, keep your hips facing forward, and allow the rib cage to turn. After this exhale, unwind your spine. Then let's straighten the right leg forward and place the left foot on the ground in front of your hip. Flex your right foot, hold on to your left shin with your right hand, and place the left hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Root into the ground and breathe in, lengthen up through the spine. Breathe out, relax your belly and rotate your rib cage. Inhale, root down and lengthen through both ends of your spine. Exhale, keep your hips still while turning the chest. A few more breaths like that. And notice as we direct where the twist is happening, which is across the waistline, then you can continue to use each part of the breath, the in and the out, to explore your range of motion within the twist. After you finish this exhalation, unwind your spine. Take your 2 blocks and please place them in front of your mat on their tallest height, shoulders width apart. And let's rise up into a standing forward fold. I'm going to play the mantra that we're going to be chanting later just to familiarize yourself with it. So as you come to stand at the top of your mat, take a moment to envision, remind yourself of your intention for your practice. And let's begin our first series of sun salutations, Surya Namaskar. Remember, it's a salutation to the sun, which is a great source of energy for all us living on this planet. And as we bring the hands to the heart, we're also saluting source that is within us. So bringing that energy of gratitude and your vision of your intention, empty this breath. Inhale, sweep your arms forward. Roll your shoulders behind your ears and down, and tilt your chest and gaze up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend the knees if needed so that as you bow from the hips, you can create a flat back. Place your fingertips alongside your heels and inhale, step your left knee behind you to a kneeling lunge, looking up. Holding your breath, step into your version of plank pose, legs straight or knees on the ground. As you exhale, first lower your knees, then your chest, hugging the elbows towards your ribs, stick the tailbone up, and then slide the belly to the floor, inhaling to cobra, rolling the shoulders back. Tuck your toes and lift your hips back, exhaling to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb, lower your back knee and look up. Exhale, step your right foot forward and bow. Press down to your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms forward, rising to stand in a gentle back bend. Exhale, join your palms together at your heart. Side two, same sequence. Inhale again, arms overhead, coil your chest up. Exhale, bow forward. Plant your fingertips on the ground. Inhale, step your right knee behind you into a kneeling lunge, gaze up. Holding your breath, step into plank pose. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin in Ashtangasana. Inhale, slide to the ground and roll the shoulders back in Bhujangasana, Cobra. Tuck your toes. Exhale, lift your hips back in Adho Mukha Svanasana, down dog. Inhale, step the right foot beside your right thumb. Lower your back knee, look up. Exhale, step your left foot forward and bow. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, coil your chest up, gaze up. Exhale, join your hands together in front of your heart. Second series of sun salutations. Inhale, lift the arms overhead, coil your chest up. Exhale, bow forward. This time, press your hands on your blocks, your shins or the ground, and inhale, lengthen your spine parallel to the floor in Ardha Uttanasana. As you exhale, step into plank pose, continue gliding forward, bending the elbows to hug your ribs in Chaturanga Dandasana. Then choose either cobra or upward dog as you inhale, coiling your chest up. Exhale, lift your hips high and back into downward facing dog. Let's pause the body, steady your gaze, and rebalance inhales and exhales. Listen in for 3 cycles of breath. When you hear the bottom of your third exhalation, then walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat, entering a forward fold, Uttanasana. Press down with your hands and inhale, lengthen to half forward fold, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale again, Uttanasana. Press down with your feet. Inhale, sweep your arms up to rise in Urdhva Hastasana with a gentle back bend. Exhale, join your hands at your sternum in Padasana. Let's take the same Surya Namaskar, sun salutation once more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Either step to plank and lower or float lightly into Chaturanga Dandasana. Continue inhaling to cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, when you arrive in downward dog, still your body, steady your gaze, and rebalance your breath, cultivating stillness. When you finish the third out breath, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat. Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Rooting down, inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Padasana, hands at the heart. Let's move into our last Surya Namaskar series. Bring the inner edges of your feet together to touch, preparing for chair pose, Utkatasana. Empty this breath. As you inhale, bend your knees together to touch and maybe graze the floor with your fingertips, sitting that low and raising your arms in chair pose. Then exhale, lean forward and bow from your hips, Uttanasana. Press with your hands again. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step to plank or float to Chaturanga and take it through your vinyasa. When you arrive at downward facing dog, keep your hips leveled in height as you inhale to raise your right leg behind you. Exhale, step the foot beside your right thumb, spin your back heel down. Facing forward, inhale, rise up into Warrior One. As you exhale, lower to flow into your vinyasa. Again, at downward dog, keep your hips leveled and inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale the foot beside your left thumb and spin the right heel down. Facing forward, inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower, finishing your vinyasa. When you arrive at Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, be still for 3 breaths. If you need to rest, take whatever position of rest works for you, be it child's pose, sitting down, or something else. Remember to honor what you're feeling in your body. Truthfulness is one of the practices within the 8 limbs of yoga. Satya. If you're ready to, after the 3rd exhalation, walk or float to the front of your mat with feet touching there. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. With knees touching, maybe graze the ground with your fingertips. Inhale, sit low in Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, rise, Padasana. Last time, same Surya Namaskar. Inhale, Utkatasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or float, continue through your vinyasa on your own. When you arrive at down dog, inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale the foot beside your right thumb, drop the back heel. Inhale, rise to Warrior One. Exhale, lower, completing your vinyasa. Last side at downward dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale the foot beside your left thumb, drop your right heel. Inhale, rise, Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Once again, at downward dog, pause, re-steady your attention, your body, your breath. 3 cycles of breath. As you're wrapping your triceps towards the ground, open up space across your shoulders and dropping your head, lengthen your neck. As you firm the front of your thigh bones back, draw your heels towards the earth. Knees can be bent. Heels don't have to touch the ground. After this exhalation, walk or float to the front of your mat, Uttanasana, with feet touching. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale again, Uttanasana. Bend your knees together. Inhale, sit low in Utkatasana. Exhale, rise, Padasana. Let's separate the feet about hips width, parallel to each other, and reach your hands behind you to clasp or hold a strap between your hands. Roll your shoulders back and down as you inhale, lift your sternum. Bend your knees any amount needed so that as you exhale to bow from your hips, you can truly let your spine unfold without rounding the back or shoulders. Staying here a few breaths, tilt your weight forward and stretch the arms further away from your lower back. So we can open up the front of the shoulders. And by bending the elbows slightly, lift the shoulders up and free up more space in your neck. You might even shake out the head, nod the head, relaxing the jaw here. Couple more breaths. Place your hands on your hips, point your elbows towards the sky, and firming in your abdomen, lead with your chest and inhale to slowly rise. Let's take your 2 blocks, step to face the wide width of your mat, and walk or jump your feet as wide apart as you can splay the hands apart. Place the blocks behind your calves on their tallest height. And let's begin with rotating your left leg out to face the short edge of your mat, 90 degrees. I'm gonna mirror you here. And turn in your right leg 45 degrees, aligning your left heel to the arch of your right foot. Let's prepare for triangle. Firm the front muscles of your thighs without locking your knees. Evenly weigh down through both feet as you open the arms wide. Glide your pelvis sideways towards the short edge of your mat in which your left foot is near, reaching your right hand towards the short edge of your mat in which your right foot is near. Place the right hand on the right side of your right shin on a block or the floor where your arm and leg could firm against each other. Rotate your left leg. Rotate your left outer hip underneath you and tack the crease of your left hip back towards your right outer foot. As you raise the right arm up, spin your chest slightly to face the sky, landing your gaze on one intentional point. Continue to lengthen your spine forward as you slide the shoulders down your back. Let's listen to a few more breaths here in Trikonasana. As you firm down through your feet, inhale, rise up, bend your left knee just above the left heel. Rotate the left palm to face up and side bend towards your right leg in Peaceful Warrior. Relaxing your shoulders down, seal in the bottom of your front ribs and breathe length along the left side of your torso and even into the right side of your torso. Inhale, rise up, straighten both legs and parallel your feet. And let's switch directions. Rotate your right leg externally at the hip, 90 degrees. Rotate your left leg internally at the hip, 45 degrees. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot, and with legs straight, firm the front muscles of your thighs and open your arms. Glide your pelvis sideways towards your left foot as you reach the right hand past your right knee. Place that hand on the right side of your right shin on a block of the floor, firming your arm and leg against each other. Stack your shoulders in one line and draw the crease of your right hip back towards your left outer foot. While lengthening your torso forward, rotate your chest slightly to face the sky. Steady your gaze, your drishti, and let's tune into a few more breaths in Trikonasana. Press down through your feet, inhale, rise up, bend your right knee just over the heel, and side bend towards your left leg in Peaceful Warrior. These lateral extensions of the spine, these side bends are going to be helpful in creating more space to deepen our spinal twists. Root down through your feet. Inhale, rise up. And let's bring the blocks to both sides of the top of your mat. Come to stand at the top. Inhale the arms overhead. Coil your chest up. Exhale, forward fold. Either take a vinyasa, a few rounds of cat-cow, or step directly back to downward facing dog, where we'll meet for a few breaths. When you arrive at downward dog, broaden your shoulder blades by spinning your triceps towards the ground as you point your index fingers forward or slightly turn them out. Soften the back of your neck, lifting the shoulder blades onto your back ribs. Inhale, raise your right leg behind you. Flex the foot. Exhale, cross your right knee to tap the outside of your left shoulder or upper arm. Stay in the twist, and let's prepare for fallen triangle, spinning the left heel to the floor, straightening the right leg towards your left wall as you flex the right foot. Place the outer right foot on the ground. Press down with your right hand, making sure to stack your shoulders on top of your right wrist as you raise your left arm up. You might sweep the left arm overhead. You might raise the right foot to hover. A few more breaths in your variation of fallen triangle. Sending the shoulder blades down your back, create stability in your shoulders. One more breath. Placing both hands on the floor, inhale, raise your right leg behind you, back to three-legged dog. Exhale, step your right foot beside your right thumb and lower your back knee. Take your strap and rise up to a kneeling lunge. Making sure your legs are hips width apart. Stack your right knee directly on top of your right heel. After the alignment is set, then create stability by isometrically dragging your legs towards each other and lifting your pelvic floor. Now that you have stability and engagement, use your right hand to cup the top of your right thigh. Keep your right leg solid. Raise your left arm and inhale, stretch your spine down the midline of your mat. Keep the spine oriented down the midline of the mat and exhale, twist to the right across your waistline. You might place the left hand on a block or the floor on the inside of your right leg, raising the right arm up. Or if you're finding there's more torque to or you want to add more torque, use the left elbow and cross it to the outside of your right thigh. And you can join the hands together in prayer here. Breath by breath, lengthening the spine as you inhale, stabilizing through what's touching the floor, which is your legs, and keeping your hips still as you exhale to keep rotating the rib cage. Now the strap is for those of you that want to go further into binding, and binding will allow an opening in the fronts of the shoulders. So if you want to try the binding, take the strap in your right hand and dangle the tail behind your back so that you can see it. You can even bring it so that it's a little more visible towards, comes down the inside of the right thigh, but you can see it on the outside of the right thigh. Then you can use the left hand to catch the bottom end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe your hands clasp and you won't need the strap, or you can hold on to your right wrist with the left hand. Now you can decide to keep the back knee on the floor. You could lift the back knee, straighten the leg, making sure the hips stay squared, continuing to twist as you exhale. Now avoid leaning your torso entirely onto your front leg. You want to feel the strength of your core and legs. Find the navel away from your right thigh, keeping your right leg solid. Some more breaths here. Now take a look at your right foot, and we're going to start to move forward to balancing in twisting half moon. If you're in a bind, you can keep the bind if you want to add more challenge. I'll show you real quick. To get into the bound half moon, flex the left leg off the floor, and the hands are still bound. Otherwise, you can reach for your blocks, place them a foot in front of your right foot. First start in supported warrior 3, squaring the hips, flexing the left foot. Then place the left hand 1 foot in front of your right big toe. You might use the right thumb to draw the right outer hip back, keeping the pelvis still while you rotate your chest to the right and maybe raise the right arm up. So here's the traditional version of Harita Ardha Chandrasana, twisting half moon pose. Whatever version you're in, the bound version or not, continue for a few more breaths. Now, if you're in your bind, want to play with challenging it a little bit more, you can keep the bind, step the left foot beside the right foot, whether you're bound or not. And we're going to start to transfer the weight onto your left foot, entering another balancing twist. Now I'll show you with the bind, you shift your weight onto your left foot, flex the right foot and extend it in front of you, and continue to twist and twisting hand to big toe. Otherwise, you can start in mountain pose. Place the right hand on your right outer hip, bend the right knee in front of you, and catch hold of the outer knee with your left hand, and then twist, reach the right arm back, or hold the outer right foot as you kick it forward towards you to straighten the right leg as you're twisting. Whatever your variation, commit to your breath and focus. A few more breaths. Harita Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana is the name of this pose in Sanskrit. Stay in your twist, look forward, then step your right foot down. Join your hands and let's pause for a few breaths, checking in with your body, with your breathing, your energy, with your mind. Realign with your intention for this practice. Steadying the breath to Ujjayi again. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, gently coil your chest up. Exhale, bow forward. Choose whether to take a vinyasa, a few rounds of cat-cow, or step directly to downward facing dog, where we'll meet for a few breaths. And when you arrive in downward dog, take a moment to restabilize your shoulder blades. Spread them apart, roll the triceps down, and draw them down your back ribs. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. Exhale, cross the knee to your right outer upper arm for a twist. Gain the twist, drop the right heel, straighten the left leg to the right, flexing the foot as you lay the outer foot on the ground. Stack your shoulders over your left wrist and press the ground away with every part of your body touching the ground, entering fallen triangle. Options, you could raise the right arm overhead. You could raise the left foot to hover. Let's take a few more breaths. Place the right hand back down. Inhale, swing your left leg behind you, three-legged downward facing dog. Exhale, step the foot beside your left thumb. Lower your back knee. Take your strap and rise to a kneeling lunge. Take a moment to place your legs in stability with safe alignment. Legs hips width apart, front knee directly on top of the heel. Then isometrically scissor the legs and lift your pelvic floor. Create the engagement to support stability. Then use your left hand to cup the top of your left thigh. As you raise your right arm, inhale, stretch your spine down the midline of your mat. Keep your pelvis still and exhale, twist to the left across your waistline. Try to go for the same version as you did on the first side, whether you lower the right hand on a block or the floor on the inside of the leg and raise the left arm, or hook the right elbow outside your left thigh. Make sure that left knee continues to point forward. Join the hands in prayer. Or if you're playing with a bind, take the strap in your left hand and dangle the tail behind your back. Sweep the tail under your left thigh so you can see it on the left side of your front leg, and reach for it with the right hand outside of the left leg. Then walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe you clasp the hands, maybe you hold the left wrist. Inhale, lengthen the spine further forward. Hug your outer hips together to still the pelvis, and exhale, continue to twist. So notice how the bind offers that deep opening into the front of the left shoulder. Now you could continue, maybe straighten the back leg. Continue to explore your range of motion in the twist. Remember to try not to lean your torso entirely on your front leg. You want to lift the belly away from it so you're supporting yourself through your musculature. I know that's more challenging, but it definitely builds strength and integrity in the pose. So now from here, you can decide how you're going to enter twisting half moon. Keep the bind, tilt the torso forward, flex the right foot off the floor, hands free, or reach for your blocks, place them a foot in front of your left foot, start in supported warrior 3, balance the 2 hips, and then place the right hand 1 foot in front of the left big toe. You might use the left thumb to tack the left outer hip back as you lengthen to your center line, and then exhale to twist to the left, maybe raise the left arm. Hatha, Ardha, Chandrasana. A few more breaths. Now, if you're in the twist, you can keep, the bind, you can keep the bind and take it with you, coming into stepping the right foot next to the left, shifting the weight onto the right foot, and extending the left leg, and twisting hand to big toe pose. Otherwise, start in mountain pose. Place the left hand on your left hip as you bend the left knee in front. Catch hold of the outer knee with your right hand and start twisting, or catch hold of the outer foot. Kick the foot forward to straighten the leg as you pull it while twisting to the left. Breathe in, root down, and rise up. Breathe out, stabilize your center, keep the hips facing forward, continue to explore your twist. Harita, Uttita, Hasta Parangushtasana. Last few breaths. Staying in your twist, direct your gaze forward. Then step the left foot to meet the right. Join your hands in mountain pose, Padasana. Tune in for a few breaths. In the way you're approaching your physical practice, what is the effect on your feeling tone you're experiencing now? Let's make our way down to our knees. We're going to prepare for our final back bends by first opening up the fronts of the hips and thighs in supine hero. So choose your hero's pose, sitting directly on your calves, sitting on a block between the ankles, or drawing the calves back, separating the feet, and sitting on the floor between your ankles. Remember to keep your knees on the ground and no wider apart than your hips distance, and to make sure that your toes are all pointed back. Then you can start to explore what's available. Perhaps you lean back, maybe you stay upright, breath by breath for about 10 breaths. Take your time. And as you're leaning back, if you are, be mindful of your lower back. You don't want to feel like you're overarching it. Instead, draw the tailbone downward and forward while slightly lifting your frontal hip bones towards your lowest front ribs. Keep grounding the knees, and if you lie all the way back, you could raise your arms overhead and hold opposite elbows, further stretching into your psoas. Let's tune into 10 more breaths where you've now landed. Long, even breaths. Allow a few breaths to slowly rise, making your way onto your stomach, lying face down. You might make a pillow out of your forearms crossed to rest your forehead on. Pause there for a few breaths, just inviting space behind your knees. And slide your knees as close together as you can as we prepare for 2 rounds of Dhanurasana bow pose. Bending both knees, catch your outer feet to start. If you're unable to reach your feet, keep your legs straight and do this instead. Hands clasped, legs straight, which is bound locust pose. If you have your feet, press your pubic bone into the ground. Keep your knees no wider apart than your hips distance to stabilize your lower back. Kick your feet evenly into both hands as you pull your feet towards you, lifting the knees. And draw the shoulders back and down, lifting the chest forward. Stay for 5 to 7 breaths of your count in bow pose before releasing everything and resting for 3 breaths. Observe your body as you're lying in stillness. Last round of Dhanurasana. Slide your knees close together, bending both knees. Catch your outer feet again, or added intensity, catch your inner ankles. You choose. Press your pubic bone into the ground. Kick evenly into both hands as you pull your feet towards you, lifting the knees. 5 to 7 breaths, your count. Imagine the area that's right under your shoulder blades contracting. Lead from your chest to start looking forward rather than leaning from your chin, which can easily tense the neck. Once you've let it go, be still, rest, and observe for 3 breaths. Please slide back into Balasana, child's pose, for another 3 breaths to transition. Feet together, knees together or apart. Sink your pelvis down to your feet and place your arms wherever it's comfortable. On an inhale, slowly roll your spine upright to sit, and let's prepare for bridge. So step your feet in front of you, sitting at the middle of your mat. Separate your feet hips distance. If you like added lower back support, take the skinniest width of a block and firm it between your knees and thighs. Lying down on your back, arms down by your sides, slide your heels back until you could almost touch them with your fingertips, but not that close. Press down with your shoulders and feet, tilt your chin back, and on an inhale, lift your pelvis high off the floor for 5 to 7 breaths, your count. Walk your upper arms as close together as you can under your back ribs, maybe clasping the hands. Keep your arms straight. As you isometrically drag your heels towards your glutes, lengthen the fronts of your thighs forward and spin your inner thighs slightly towards the ground, keeping your feet parallel to each other. Deep breaths. Tilt the chin back, stretching the lungs with your inhalations. Setu Bandha Parvangasana, bridge pose. When you decide you're ready, slowly lower upper back, middle back, tailbone last. Put the block aside and drop your knees apart for Supta Baddha Konasana for a few breaths. If your thighs are uncomfortably lifting from the ground, place a block under each outer thigh or whatever props you have to support your legs. You might place your left hand at your heart center, your right hand at your navel. And let's start to use a cooling, calming breathing technique of breathing into the belly for 5 counts, and breathing out through the mouth for 7. Empty this breath to prepare for a few times. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Place your hands on your outer thighs. Draw the knees together. Turn over to one side or rock forward to sit. Let's take our last spinal twist. Straighten your left leg forward. And this is actually a combination of a spinal twist and a forward fold. It's twisting head to knee pose. So you might like to use a strap and place it around the ball of your left foot, holding the strap in your right hand. Bring the sole of your right foot high up on your inner left thigh. Place the left hand on the ground outside your left leg. Kick into the strap as you flex the left foot and press your sitting bones down. Breathe in, sit up tall, relax your shoulders. Breathe out, rotate your chest to the left and begin to fold towards the outside, the left side of your left leg, little by little each breath. If you could hold your outer foot with your right hand, you could do that instead of holding the strap. Be mindful to keep the right sitting bone on the ground. You may want to lift up here. So root to the hips, lengthen the chest forward as you fold. Parita Janu Shirshasana. Pressing down with your hips, inhale, slowly rise up. Let's switch sides. Maybe stepping the ball of your right foot into the strap. Bring the sole of your left foot high onto your inner right thigh. Hold the strap in your left hand if you're using it. Place the right hand on the ground to the right side of your right leg. Kick into the strap, breathe in, sit tall. Breathe out, turn your chest to the right and bow towards the right side of your right leg. Press the left hip down, lengthen the spine forward, continuing to fold. Twisting head to knee pose. Harita Janu Shirshasana. One more deep breath here. Pressing down to your hips, inhale to slowly rise. Let's make our way into corpse pose. Stretch the legs out. If your lower back wants support, you can place each block underneath the back of each knee. Splay your feet wider than your hips distance, and as you lie down on your back, walk the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Flip the palms face up and drop the shoulders. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly through your nose. Imagine filling up your whole body with the breath. Hold it in for a few seconds. When you're ready, through the lips, slowly let it go, allowing your bones to sink heavier towards the center of the earth. Shavasana. Resting here a little bit longer with your eyes still closed, begin to scan your body and notice how it's responded to your asana practice. Start to move your fingers and toes. Gently turning over onto your right side. And as you pause on your side, notice how you're feeling now, energetically sensing the quality of your breath. Take your time pressing yourself up, finding a comfortable way to sit. As I mentioned, we're going to be chanting mantra for our meditation practice. And mantra, by definition, is a tool to steady your mind. The Sanskrit language itself, as Trevor Arthur, who I interviewed on Instagram Live, talked about, is a phonetic language that really builds into the sound, the feeling tone of the meaning behind the words you're singing. So the mantra that I'd like to guide us through, and I will be playing the song by Deva Pramal, singing it so we can sing along to her, means take me from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. It's called Om Asatoma. And in Sanskrit, it's pronounced like this. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. You'll hear her sing it, and as you get into the repetition of the sound, you can start mentally singing it, and then when you feel comfortable singing it out loud, and notice the feeling tone that you are cultivating through repeating the song of inviting light and clarity and truth into your life, recognizing your true nature, that which is immortal, right? Beyond this physical body. So I'm going to play it. It's going to be throughout our meditation. And at the end, it finishes with Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And Shanti means peace. It's a way to seal the mantra. So here we go. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotir Gamaya
Prityama Amritam Gamaya. Om Asatoma Satgamaya. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Prityama Amritam Gamaya.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Together. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Pausing for a minute of silence, observing the effect on your minds and inner state. Tuning in, notice the effects of your yoga practice today, all the aspects of the practice, including the mantra. And what could you offer gratitude for now? Whether mentally or out loud, I invite you to restate your intention for your practice. And recall to whom or what you dedicated this practice to. You might take a moment to visualize them receiving benefit from your efforts. Let's close with one Om. Inhale deeply. Om. Bowing in, honor the lights within you. The light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.